Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We will continue our A2 German grammar course. Like always, feel free to go to my other series. They are all connected, A1 grammar, A1 vocabulary and stories. Therefore, you can always go back, repeat or look something up. Last time we had an exercise, I gave it to you, trying to compare two things using comparative. We will now check out the solution and then we go to the next topic. Let's go. Eva lernt sehr viel, aber du lernst viel mehr als Eva. Karl kocht sehr gern, aber du kochst viel lieber als Karl. Lisa malt sehr gut, aber du malst viel besser als Lisa. Max springt sehr hoch, aber du springst viel höher als Max. Maria lebt sehr gesund, aber du lebst viel gesünder als Maria. Robert ist sehr sensibel, aber du bist viel sensibler als Robert. You can see the feel here is of course for emphasis to make it a lot more. We don't have to say it, we can leave it out. In English we would say much more or much better. So feel in this case is much. And then we have the comparative. You can see there are some special ones. Viel becomes mehr. Gern becomes lieber. Gut, besser. Those are really exceptions. And then we have the ones we already practiced. So everything we said here, the subject did more than the people we were talking about because they are after the als. Okay, and this was the one exercise we started last week. Now we have finished it. If you have questions about it, you can look it up, ask me in the comments. There are many ways. Just for practice reasons, before we go to the next topic, we have here two mouses. One is black or dark and one is white. Of course, the basis is to know vocabulary. You must know what means black, white, dark, stuff like that. So if we want to make a comparison, we can say Maus A ist dunkler, darker, als Maus B. Okay, we can also say Maus B ist heller, lighter, als Maus A, lighter than Maus A. But now we want to check out something that is the same. If we have something that is the same, do we need comparative? No, we don't. When talking about things being equal, we do not need the comparison grammar. Logically, it is still a comparison. You're right. But grammarly speaking, it's not. So how can we say the mouse A is as big as mouse B? We have a new pattern. Maus A ist so groß wie Maus B. The first thing I want you to see is that we don't have a comparative here. We only have the normal form of an adjective. And the other pattern that is important, the same as I taught you how to say bigger than, we now learn so, something, something, as. This is the whole structure. And when you practice it and you are confident saying it, you will see how often you will use it. So let's check out some exercise. They want you here in this exercise to combine both things you learned this and last week. Let's read the example. Die Wohnung ist so billig wie das Büro. We see immediately, okay, we have two things, but we don't have, grammarly speaking, a comparison. We have as cheap as the office. The apartment is as cheap or the same cheap as the office. Okay, but now we have nein. Das Büro ist billiger. No, the office is cheaper. If we wanted to continue the sentence, what would we say? We would say, als die Wohnung. This would be the whole sentence, but we don't need it always. It's important to say what is cheaper. So the apartment is as cheap as the office. No, the office is cheaper. What I want you to do now is to check out this exercise and try to do it by yourself. We do the first one together. Unser Haus ist so groß wie euer Haus. Meaning, our house is the same big as your house. And the other person, think about logic, must say now, no way. Our house is bigger than your house. So the euer, because we're talking about possession, becomes our. So they say, nein, unser Haus ist größer. And now we are comparing something that is not the same. It's an inequality. So we have again Komparativ. Unser Haus ist größer. Our house is bigger. Let's do another one together. B. Frage 1 ist so schwierig wie Frage 2. Question 1 is the same hard or difficult as question 2. And now we want to say nein. Frage 2 ist schwieriger. Schwieriger. And here we have, again, the comparative. There is a difference. Okay, you can press pause, try it by yourself, and then we compare the right answers. Das Bier ist so kalt wie der Weißwein. Nein, der Weißwein ist kälter. The beer is as cold as the white wine. No, the white wine is colder. Die Äpfel sind so teuer wie die Tomaten. Die Tomaten sind teurer. The apples are as expensive as the tomatoes. No, the tomatoes are more expensive. Paul ist so fleißig wie Carmen. Carmen ist fleißiger. Paul is as hardworking as Carmen. Carmen is more hardworking. Das Rathaus ist so alt wie die Kirche. Die Kirche ist älter. The city hall is as old as the church. The church is older. Das Steak ist so gut wie das Schnitzel. Das Schnitzel ist besser. Special one, I made it blue. So the steak is as good as the cutlet. Das Schnitzel ist besser. The cutlet is better. So keep in mind, the comparative of good, is besser, irregular. Das Gebäude ist so hoch wie dieser Turm. Dieser Turm ist höher. This building is as tall or high or big as the tower. As that tower. The tower is higher or bigger or taller, depends. Mein Onkel ist so reich wie deine Tante. Meine Tante ist reicher. My uncle is as rich as your aunt. My aunt is richer. Klaus verdient so viel wie Maria. Maria verdient mehr. The last one could also be a special thing I could mark, because this is the first time we do not have the verb to be cold, to be expensive, to be busy, but we have a verb, because it says Klaus earns, to earn, as much as Maria. And then it says Maria earns more. So the comparative of viel is mehr. We have time to do a second, or so to speak, a third expression. Now we had the comparative for something that is not the same. We are looking at the differences. Then we did the statement when something is the same. And now we have the superlative, which means that one thing is the most something out of a group. We have two options here. I think today we only learned the first one, but to be honest, I think you can handle both. So we can say, let's give it a name. First expression, it's also the one we will learn today a little bit further. Maus A ist am größten. So we need am and the superlative of the adjective we are talking about. Die größte Maus ist A. The biggest mouse is A. But as I told you, try to focus on the first version for now. Here we have a nice little table which shows us all the possible forms. If you're not familiar with the expressions Prädikativ and such, please watch my other two videos. I think in one of those I explain it. So the first one, die Avocados sind billig. The avocados are cheap. This is a positive statement, a normal statement without any comparison. Die Tomaten sind billiger. The tomatoes are cheaper. Now we have the comparison with something. It can be the avocados we talked before. It can be something else. It doesn't have to be in the same sentence marked. Die Gurken sind am billigsten. The cucumbers are the cheapest. Superlative. So if you remember that you just have the adjective here you have the ER with some irregularities like always. And for the superlative, you have and sten after the adjective. I think you will manage really well. We have some irregularities, of course, also in the superlative. For example, nah, close, becomes am nächsten, the closest. Gut, remember, we have gut, besser in comparative, and now it makes sense to say am besten, the best. Pizza ist mein Lieblingsessen. Pizza is my favorite food. Ich esse am liebsten Fisch. What does it mean? This is a nice expression you should learn by heart. Here we don't have an adjective or something. We don't say fish is the tastiest, the most healthiest or something like that. But we say I eat most likely fish. Am liebsten. Many students or learners get it really confused because it doesn't exist in many languages like this. Just try to remember it. Your most favorite to eat is fish. I want to give you the table to help you a little bit out with this likeliness because this is also a comparison. So person number one says, ich esse gerne fish. I like eating fish. The other person says, ich esse lieber Fleisch. I prefer to eat meat. Here we have the comparison of a preference. You cannot say lieber without making it clear that you like something more than something else. I give you an example. For example, someone says, treffen wir uns am Montag? And the other person says, lieber am Dienstag. So are we meeting on Monday? And the other person says, I more prefer it on Tuesday. We cannot say lieber without having a comparison with something. It doesn't make sense. It's a comparative. It doesn't look like it, but it is. So more likely this and that. So one person likes to eat fish, the other likes to eat more the meat. And now the third person, ich esse am liebsten Gemüse. I most likely eat veggies. This is the comparison of the preference. I hope it makes sense. If you have questions, like always, watch my other videos, ask me. This is why I'm here, and I will answer next time. Speaking of next time, this is the exercise I want you to do until next time. If you want, I cannot force you. I can only recommend you to do it because you have to put a little time and effort into really getting familiar with the grammar and with the usage also. So let's read the example. Hotel, billig. Hotel and cheap. Dieses Hotel, we can also say das Hotel if you're not familiar with dieses. Das Hotel ist am billigsten, the most cheapest or the cheapest in English. This is it. Don't forget the umlaut sometimes, or sometimes we have also irregularities, like here and here, and then you will do fine. Next time we will compare, talk about some other building questions of the superlative. Thank you so much for watching, for your support. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a sentence. You can follow me on Instagram, and I will see you very soon. Bye.